Hi everybody, this is a tutorial on how to create your first visual assignment in Microsoft Word. Now I haven't used the name of the assignment because it could change over time, but this is for you tour guiding students from 23-24. We tried to do some of this today and last week, but we had some interruptions and we didn't quite achieve what we wanted to achieve. So hence this video. Okay, so this is just so you know, I'm going to put this image up on this slide on YouTube so you'll be able to see it. I'm just going to move it out of the way. Okay, now, blank document. As you can see, there's no URL up at the top. I'm in the downloaded version of Microsoft Word. Here it is here down the bottom. Ignore all of these tabs of a lot of software. Microsoft Word. Okay, now, if I was to, I'm going to bring this little folder in here. Okay, so this folder is, I've got a memory stick plugged into this machine called Noel J, this PC. So there we go, Noel J. I'm going to double click on it. And inside I've got assignment 1. And inside that I've got my assignment 1 Word document that we were just looking at there. There it is. You can see it there, assignment 1, assignment 1. But I've also got a folder called images for assignment. I'll just show you these. So they're just random slides taken from PowerPoint slides over God knows how long. And I also have a background that I'm going to put onto my page. You don't have to do that. You might want to. By the end of the year, some students get very into the design end of things. But these are just images. Now for you, I think you're doing a walking tour of Dublin or something like that. So you're going to have completely different images. But these are mine. And they're in images for assignment, which is inside my assignment 1 folder, which is in my memory stick, which is called Noel J. So I'm going to close this because we can drag things in, but I'm going to show you how to do this through Word. So I'm going to close this. Okay, so we're going to start off. The first thing we're going to do is this will only look well if you have some text written on the page, right? Now, I'm not going to write an assignment for the purpose of showing you this. But if you wanted to lay out a page and just see how it looks, you can use what we call lorem ipsum dummy text, right? So I'm only doing this for the purpose of inserting the images. You do not have to do this, right? Equals, let me just zoom in here, equals, LOREM. And then you press Shift and you press 9 and 0, which gives you the open and close parenthesis, enter. Okay, and as you can see, as we saw in class, it basically just gives us a nice little block of dummy text. I'm going to close up the spaces by putting the cursor in and pressing delete, because I just want to turn this into a nice big paragraph. Now, as you can see, it's left aligned at the moment, which means it's straight edged on the left, but it's all kind of crooked on the right. I'm going to click anywhere inside and just hover and click over justify. It gives me a full paragraph. And I'm going to make a couple of them. So I'm going to just copy all of this text. So I just select it, I left click and I drag from bottom to top. And I can either click on the copy symbol, which is over here. Okay, a lot of people just hit Control and C. I'm going to select it, I hit Control and C. It copies it into memory. I click back again and I hit Control and V. And it just pastes it in place for me. Okay, so I'm going to do it once more. Okay, so I've got a nice little body of text there just to insert some images into. Like I said, you do not have to do this. This is just for the purpose of me wanting to show you how the images work. Okay, so we're going to start from scratch. I haven't inserted any images into this, so I'll have to navigate to my stick and then navigate to my images. So, at all times, every now and again, just go File and Save. I've already saved it on my stick. I showed you how to do that, but just save it every now and again in case it crashes. So we're going to go to Insert, Picture, this device, and I know my memory stick is called Noel J. Now, on the computers in the college, they tend to look a bit like this, and you can't see our memory stick, okay? Now, you can either drag the window down to see everything on the left-hand side, and there it is there. Or what you can do is, if it looks like this, you can just use your hover your wheel mouse and scroll down with the wheel mouse until your memory stick comes into view. There it is. Okay, so I've got my assignment 1. Now by the end of the year, you're going to have assignment 2, assignment 3, and you might put names on them, but this is just assignment 1. I double click to go inside, and here are my images for assignment 1. And here are my images. Now, often you'll say you can't see them. That's true. They're currently in list view. Okay, so what we're going to do is we go over here. Now, it might be slightly different than Windows 11. I think over here you've got the word view, but over here it's a little drop-down menu. And you can see it's in detail at the moment. Actually, there's list view. It looks pretty much the same. But we're going to go over to large icons. Now, I could go over to extra large icons, make them bigger. But if you have an awful lot of them, they might actually spill past the page and you'll have to scroll. Okay, so I'm just going to click on the first image, basic digital movie making with a mobile phone. This is just a slide from a PowerPoint. Okay, so I'm just going to go insert, and you'll see it comes in quite large and underneath the text. Now, as I showed you today, I can't by default move this easily. I'm clicking and dragging, and the reason is it's locked. We need to wrap it to the text. Now, I showed you what this was before. I'm just going to reduce the size down by clicking and dragging on the corner bar. The little dots here, I can kind of just click on them and drag them down. So you right click and you go wrap text, and we're going to choose square. Now, just for people who weren't in today, what does that mean? That means that as I move the image around now, the text wraps around it. Now, there's a few different options for this. I can right click and I can go wrap text square, and you'll see if I move down to tight, you'll see that the text on the right moves in a little bit tighter to it. I can click on through. Doesn't make a tremendous difference in this case. In some kind of documents it does. I can go behind text, not have a tremendous amount of use because we can't see the text and we can't see the image. But if it was a nice background or it was like a wavy pattern or something like that, it might be okay. In fact, I'm going to do that with the background in a second and later on. But I go back to wrap text. I can go in front of text, and now it's literally obscuring the text. That's not of much use to me either, unless again I was doing it for a special effect. But the one that suits us most of the time is square or tight, normally square. And what square allows us to do is we can position it over here. Okay, and we can just say, I'm just going to type in here, this is title 1. Okay, full stop. And why did I do that? I did that because you might actually want to embold the title in there. So let's just say that this little section here, just from, let's say from here down, is about this image. Okay, so I can just click and select this as title 1, and up here in the style section I can just click on heading 1 and it will give a heading like that. Now I don't have to do that, I'm just saying that that's something that can be done. So let's just say for example that the text about that picture stops about here. Now I can make this image, if I want a bigger image and less text or something like that, I can make the image any size I want. It's good to keep them at a kind of a not too large, not too small size. You want people to be able to see them, but you don't want them to take over your image. So I'm going to leave that there. And I'm going to just assume that the last thing I wrote about that image is here where it says Mori Orki. This is gibberish, by the way. And I'm just going to put the cursor in there and hit enter. So I'm going to start a new paragraph, right? Okay. So, right, so let's add another image in. So we go insert, pictures, this device, and I'm going to choose this one, picture of a truck. It has to do with marketing. That's fine. Same thing again. So we know it's locked. Right click, wrap text, square, and I'm just going to drag it up. There we go. And I can position it anyway. I can let a single sentence rise above it. I can let 2 rise above it, or I can not have any at all. And that's entirely down to me how I want to do that, right? So we have our second one there. I'll just bring this first one just in a bit. Okay. And I can bring that space. Bring it up. So I'm going to put a third image in. Okay, so I go to insert, pictures, this device, and we'll choose this one on photography. It's depth and shallow field. Okay. Now by default it pushes everything down because it's basically locked, and it's, you know, a bit difficult when you bring it in. But we can just fix that very quickly. I'm going to just drag the size down to suit me. I'm going to right click and I'm going to go wrap text and square again, and then I can position that to suit me. Now let's assume that the last sentence for this picture here is that one that ends in Fushi A or Est, right? And then I'll bring this one up. Okay, now here we go. We now have 3 images opposite 3 sets of text. Okay, and that's very nice. Okay, now we can do a little more than that if we want. If we want to, like I have this one called, this is title 1 here. I could do the same thing. I could click in here, just for the sake of it, I'll go heading 2. The heading 2 is actually a little bit better. It's smaller and nicher. So let's change the first one to heading, from heading 1 to heading 2. I just select the text and click on heading 2. And then down here I can do the same thing. Just if I wanted to do this. It kind of adds a little bit of design to it, because the very first, so this could be the title. So let's say this was Trinity College, let's say. I can just put Trinity College in here, and I can just give it a little a heading style, and it looks nice, right? Now, something you might notice about this image here is that the background of the image is white, you know, ostensibly, on a white background. So you can't actually see the edge of it. It's if I zoomed in, maybe you could just about see it there. So sometimes what you might want to do is make a border around an image, right? So if you click on the image, okay, and we go up to picture format, you'll see there's something here called picture border, right? And watch this. If I drop down picture border and go down to weight, look what happens when I hover over these lines. It gives me a frame or a border on my image. Now, I don't need, basically that's it with no border, right? That's just the frame selected, and click away, okay? So there's no border on at the moment. So if I click on the image again, I go to picture border and over, I only need the smallest, thinnest line to make that stand out. Okay, now I don't need it on this because this is mostly, there's only a small piece of white over here. That's fine, but I can, for the sake of having them all look the same, I can just click on this image, picture format, picture border, weight, and add a little thin line. Doesn't look bad. I can do it with this one, picture border, weight, add a little thin line. So they don't look too bad now, and they stand out, they pop nicely off the page. Now, at this stage, if you have written something about these three images, you are doing well, right? And you're flying, right? But let's just say, right? So you can stop listening. If this is all you want to do and all you need to know, this is fine. But let's just say you wanted to add a little bit more to it, a little bit of design in some way. You can click on an image and again go to picture format, and you see these in here. These are basically picture styles, right? And they don't look like much till you click on them. So if you look at this image here, it's a basic flat image. Now watch what happens when I select the first one. Now I haven't clicked it yet. Put a white frame on it. Put a thicker frame on it. Put a silver frame on it. This one is nice. This one has a little kind of a drop shadow, which is adjustable. These are just defaults. These are like templates. But we can go on in and change them. This one adds a little reflection underneath. This one gives it a kind of a feathered edge. There's a black frame. We'll go down here. Thick black frame, thin black frame, black oval, black and white picture frame, thick black frame, an all-around shadow. This one here was a shadow basically kind of with the shadow at the bottom of the image, but this one here is like an all-around shadow. Now this one's actually quite nice. It kind of makes the image pop a little off the page because the shadow creates an illusion of depth. So that one is kind of nice. So let's click on this one and try the same thing. Now you'll see it does make an effect. It does push the text around a little, which you might not want. Okay, so in some cases, this is probably a bad thing to do. But depending on your design, it might not be. I could very easily adjust the size of these in a way that now, so I just made that image a little larger, and now the heading is all on one line. So that's actually okay. So let's try it with this one. We'll bring this down, and I'll just add the same little shadow onto it. And it actually hasn't caused a problem here at all. So now look at that. Okay, so now we have a very nice page with three nicely formatted images, which of course yours will be Trinity College and O'Connell Bridge and I don't know, some National Gallery, whatever it is. And all of this text won't be dummy Latin, you'll be writing the text. So this is just to give you an idea. I couldn't arrange these images without text on the page, right? But this just gives you an idea of what it's like. Now, there's a lot of other things you can do, but I think this'll, if you can get this down pat for your first assignment, we can look at a lot more things for later ones, but this will do. Now, just for the hell of it, right? You do not have to do this, right? When I'm submitting documents like this, right? Now, just if you don't like this idea, don't dwell on it. I'm just showing you. When I submit documents like this, I have an aversion to a white background because I think it can take away from. It can look a little bland in some cases, you know. It can look a little sparse. So I'm after making a background that I'm going to throw inside the document, right? Now, you'll see down at the moment, we're in the center of the document. If I double click up here, it's called a header and the footer, right? If I just double click in here, watch what happens. Okay, the word header comes up. Everything grays out to let me know that I'm inside the header. Now, I can put images and logos and all kinds of things in here, right? And they'll repeat page after page. Once you put it into the header or the footer, see it says footer here. Once you put it in, Microsoft Word will automatically repeat that page after page, and I'll show you what I mean by that in a second, right? But I'm going to insert an image in here, just to show you it can be done, right? And then don't bother doing it yourself. Insert picture, this device, and I actually have a little background I actually made especially for documents for you guys, right? Just for me, right? For doing work for you. So I'm going to click on insert, and it's now at the moment it's going to push everything down, and this is where I'm talking about changing it to behind text. So watch this. I have to right click and go wrap text and square for the moment. I'm going to position this right up at the top and then drag this one so it's right down at the bottom, right? Now it's pushing everything out of the way at the moment. Now watch this. Right click, wrap text, behind text. Okay, then we just click out. Oh yeah, sorry, header and footer, close. Now, okay. Now, you don't have to do this, but it does take the bland look off a white document. You have to be very careful how you make these or what you use. But I've automatically in that image put Regional Tour Guiding Noel Johnston. I've thrown my little logo in. And here's the cool thing about it, right? This document is less than a page long. I'm just going to click at the bottom. I'm going to hit enter a few times so that it starts a new document. And you see it automatically populates the new page with my background. You can just about see there's somebody here giving a tour. It's very, very light and very faint. It's just to provide a warm background for everything that's on it. It's not going to conflict with it, with the anything in the foreground. It's just to take the bland look off it. You do not have to do this. If you're looking at it and going, okay, that's one step too far, that's perfectly okay. All right. Now, so watch the video a few times, bring some images in, apply some effects, wrap them square, and then put your own text in. And if you can do this, if you do this for 1 or 2 pages with 5 or 6 images, your first assignment is going to look amazing. Right, it just is, because not too many people, believe it or not, can actually do this. They learn how to use Word and they never really understand how to format images. And formatting images effectively is the key to creating an attractive, engaging document that someone will want to read. So I hope that's of use to you. The good news is you can watch this video again and again and again if you want till you get it right. I will answer any questions that you have in class next week because we'll be moving on to doing a bit of PowerPoint. So I'm going to get this up onto YouTube tonight. It's Monday night. It's still Monday night. It's 20 to 11. I'm going to get this up onto YouTube. I'm going to send you all a link. I've already sent you one already to how to add bookmarks and favorites into your browsers. I'm going to get this up onto YouTube and then I'm going to send a link to you. I'll put it up on Moodle and I will send you an email. Okay, so all you have to do is watch this video and just practice a few times. If you just practice, you'll remember. You'll get muscle memory for this. Before you know it, you'll be just bringing an image in. You'll be going right click, wrap text, square, boom, like a pro. Honestly, you just have to try. Okay, trust me. Every year people have kind of technophobic issues with this, and within 5-6 weeks they're going, "Shit, that was grand." You just have to stick at it is the only thing, and keep on trying. Okay, any questions you can ask me. I've entered you all into one big kind of cohort email, so I can email you all at once. If you ever want to send me an email and ask me any questions, if you have any difficulties, you don't have to wait till we're in class. In fact, I'd prefer you contacted me out of class, so the class can always be about whatever it's supposed to be about. No, I don't mind you asking me questions in classes, but if you have a specific query about something, if I can answer it for you outside of class, I will. And I will answer messages as soon as I can once I get them. Obviously, if I'm driving or sleeping, no. But if it's safe to do so and I can, I will. I've got no problem with that, okay? So any questions or queries, bang them off to me and I will get back to you. All right, I hope you found this useful. Please watch it a few times and just practice at home. Thank you.